Hang on. Okay, it should be working now. As I was saying, hello Horngons, I'm Joshua and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York. I almost said Bloodlines. Yeah, my mic was not working for some reason, but it works now. So let's continue. Also, hi. Forget Saint. For now, I'll settle for an adult in the room. Passive-aggressive much? Excuse me? Asking for an adult in the room is not solving a problem, it's abducting responsibility. Julia, you know exactly what I mean, so please don't get smart with me. And don't sound like my mother, maybe. Maybe I should have chosen a different choice. An adult in the room, Julia. All I'm asking for here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the Sombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired, and as such woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connection entered the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a mortal camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I? I'll just say the first, even though it says one. When he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religions, death after 33 days of papacy, rumors of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's alright. He'd probably have me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. Okay, let's read that after I read this. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. The Second Inquisition. The philosophy of the War on Terror applied to us kindred. Somewhere along the way, some deep state assholes decided the way to handle the existence of vampires was to treat us as terrorists. Yet the agents waging these operations against us often have no idea what the hell is going on, because some intra-agency collaboration created to hunt us doesn't tell anyone anything unless it's need to know. Among kindred, the term is most often abbreviated to SI. Maybe. What do you mean, maybe? I know that there's got to be something wrong with him. Some selfish motivation maybe. And I haven't nailed it down yet. But it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at Saint... I'm gonna butcher that name. Saint Stanislas Kotska is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father is looking better and better. Makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you'll excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook this time. But next time, you won't be so lucky, alright? Sure. Just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Hello. This is a visual novel, so it's going to be a lot more relaxed compared to Devil May Cry, which I'm playing again this week. Normally as of late, I did try to randomize my streams, but Devil May Cry is addictive. Well, Devil May Cry 3 is addictive, because Devil May Cry 1 and 2 were still affected by the randomizer. Also, as for the visual novel I mentioned, yeah, I had to re-download it, and it finished downloading when I announced that I was gonna play this game, so yeah, timing. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Finally. You doing alright? Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We've talked about making our schedules sync better. What's your vitamin D? I'd kill to have your skin. Would be a shame to waste it. Well, all I'm gonna say is, welcome to the world of darkness. The goth girl is the player character in this game, and she's a vampire. And she's specifically a vampire from the clan La Sombra, who have connections with the Catholic Church. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret. It's top secret stuff. MK Ultra level. Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I'd have to kill you if I told you. Just go ahead and off me anyway. It would be a mercy kill, honestly. Don't talk like that. Anything you want to share? Never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need? Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-round amazing person I know. They'd be insane not to put you on the short list. Okay, I'm gonna say this again because I said this last stream. This is... Okay, for those who don't know, this is a sequel to the visual novel I played before called Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. That one, I got to choose which character to play. And technically speaking, we didn't really know much about the past character besides them going through a breakup. Julia feels a lot more like a character. Like, you see her personality shine. She has loved ones. The other protagonists, yeah, completely blank slate. and not even done right. No offense. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane? Because that's how crazy they'd have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then. A big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because they ain't you, but they'll see. And for those that, and also additional lore. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking about Vampire the Masquerade because that's what I do with coteries and sometimes even bloodlines. My character's clan, the La Sombra, used to be part of a quote-unquote evil sect that the current sect didn't really like. So, yeah. It's kind of shaky right now. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to it without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. Why am I talking with an accent today? Remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. You can sense what I feel too, if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called it a big load of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. But watch this, Agent Scully. I sense you feeling down and realize you really need to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of... ketamine? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons. We're meeting angels. MDMA? Should I have warned chat that there were drug references? I mean, I did say my stream's mostly 16 plus unless, you know, it's a Sonic game or Mario. Or maybe even Fall Guys, because sometimes I get kids in those chats. Ding ding ding. Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing. Thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go, prepared specifically to uplift one Julia Swonsky. I'm pretty sure I said her last name differently last stream. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. I give up. Come here. Let me have a taste of you. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, vampires normally can't take drugs unless the person they drink from took a drug. For example, let's say you're a vampire and you drank off a drunk person. You'll get drunk too. Maybe this one time, the high won't end. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I always feel a little nervous when I spend too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the center of attention. It's exhausting. At least the less time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list of chores tonight? Ah yes, only one thing. Don't show up for the party at the art hall. Well, this is the rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around the city and see what's up. And maybe fix myself a little drink while I'm at it. Okay, let's see. Breaking the habit. I need to break out of this mood. Go somewhere I never visit. See something I tend to avoid. Think Julia. What's the least you place? Okay. In life, I wasn't. Let's go here. Oh, this place again. What was I thinking? I mean, even the most hopeless introverts yearn for company every now and then. Be it company of someone they know or a total stranger revealing themselves to be the soulmates they've almost sought. The last time I drank from this place, I got high. Remember someone as neurotic as me. Neurotic as me. There's something enthralling in the idea of briefly trading your individualism for a place in the crowd. You can just wander around and stare like a peeping Tom, hidden in plain sight. If there's anything missing from the shell of my past social life, it's that intangible sensation being a part of a living mass. But really, Coney Island, of all places? What was I thinking? Surely it's my ID finally revealing what I've been missing all along. All my sick soul really wanted was to nibble on a Williams caramel apple while taking an overpriced Wonder Wheel ride. Well, I'm here. Might as well try at least one of those tourist traps. Let's go. A goofy-looking rubber cyclops hanging over the entrance to the haunted house has a somewhat cheap but inviting appearance. I pay for the ticket in hope of seeing more of this sort of kits. I don't stick around until the end and storm out through the emergency exit. Jesus. I died, drank a rat's blood once, lost the ability to use modern technology, and with all that in mind, I still consider this to be the worst experience yet. I mean, Bane's severity, and also in the World of Darkness. For those who don't know, the World of Darkness is a tabletop game. Like, even though La Sombra, in story-wise, they say La Sombra can't really use technology or, you know, look at themselves in the mirror without their figure being distorted. For technology, I'm pretty sure it's just a disadvantage. Not that I expected anything else, but still, I'm not sure what I was hoping for. Amongst the clouds of cigarette smoke, I noticed an old woman perched silently by the wall. She looks like one giant wrinkle, but her gaze is lively and pierces right through me. I pulled the crumpled package out of my back pocket, my last smoke. As I raised the lighter, some pompous dick preoccupied with his visibly bored girlfriend shoves the cigarette out of my hand. Somehow it's his half-assed apology that pissed me off the most. The urge to drink him dry is strong, but I let it pass. I look beneath my feet. I can hear the old crone crackling as my cigarette sinks into the only puddle in the vicinity. Fuck. I turn toward the exit and notice some brawny dude closing in on me. The way he's dressed has the same uncanny aura as Steve Buscemi walking through a high school corridor in a skater outfit. Oh, I know what they're referencing, that meme. How do you do, fellow kids? Except that Steve Buscemi is 1,000 times cooler than this guy. He gets right in my face and hands me a cigarette, pulling up a rather annoying smirk. Blockhead. Having a bad night, sweetheart? It was fine until you came along. He completely disregards my reluctance and starts waving his hands erratically like a second-hand mime. That's a shame. But hey, you seem like a girl who likes to have fun. I know these things. I have something here just for you. Wanna check it out? Throughout his bizarre peacock dance, his colorful waistband pops up from behind his sleeve. Shit, man, how clueless can you be? Is this a hidden camera show? Or maybe you're just some newbie being hazed by the rest of your undercover unit. Fake curiosity. He really thinks I'll take the bait. Unbelievable. Okay, smartass, you're on. Well, what do you say? Keep talking? Why don't you follow me to my stash? I've got dope. Wow. Just wow. Let me stop you right there, Tony Montana. Less than 10 seconds, and you rush straight to the finish line. Also, dope? You poor soul, you're out of your depth. Who put you up to this? I seem to have struck a nerve, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Come on, big guy. Give me a reason. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Now that's just rude, and begs for a reaction. She freezes in place as I gaze into his eyes. Flash your badge and state your name to every person in that crowd. I wonder if the feeding mechanic's still in this game. Like, when I use my disciplines. He slowly turns on his heel and waddles away like an intoxicated penguin, yelling and waving his badge around for everyone to see. I'm Officer Brad Haynes. I'm Officer Brad Haynes. I'm Brad Haynes. I'm Brad Haynes, officer. For those confused, I use the discipline called Dominate. Or Dominance. It's the same. I've never really used this discipline because in other Vampire the Masquerade games I play Bruja, and their disciplines are Celerity, Presence, and Potence. Potence is super strength, you see me use it. Celerity is super speed, and Presence is just a really good charisma. Dominate is just flat out mind control. His colleagues, two casually dressed guys sharing similar blue waistbands, quickly show up to collect him, but he still keeps screaming his name at the befuddled group. Seeing the old crone rolling in the alleys, laughing her heart out at that pig suddenly makes the whole Coney Island trip worthwhile. She applauds me from afar. No one but me seems to notice. Maybe there is something more to this place after all. I casually wave back at the old lady as I take my leave. Guess that's enough human I spoke too fast. Guess that's enough human interaction for one night. Once more to Big Beat Burger, into the last fast food joint I'll ever know. I have the usual. The first time I used this line, I wasn't sure it would work, but I've gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier just smiles, nods, and charges me for one black coffee. I can imagine them instructing the newbies. See that emo weirdo? Here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee, nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably won't take a single sip if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash. But at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit here for as long as I want to. I wish I could use one of those self-order kiosks to minimize human contact, but touchscreens don't exactly like me. Not too long ago, I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. The little sombra curse. Well, Bane. Oh well, the good news is, it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is, it's because every kindred who matters is having fun at the art hole right now. It's not like I want to go. I just want them to invite me, so that I could tell them to fuck off. I scanned the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision. Am I naively hoping someone will come and save me from misery? Guess I am. Please, 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 let somebody come and get me out of here. A prince, a princess, a knight in shining armor, a fairy godmother, a passing huntsman, big bad wolf, Mila Jovovich. I know who she is. She's the actress for the Resident Evil movies. Vin Diesel. That's really Banks, I probably butchered that name. Hell, I'll take anyone at this point. Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconscious, materializing my dreams. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you're eternally stuck being a nobody in a corner of a shitty restaurant. Sweet little Julia. Unlife's a bitch, and then you don't even die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the last 15 years and therefore contains no amusing drugged-out rants about troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back to looking at the entrance. The party must be so stuffy and trashy and boring. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation. I'm asking for amusement. Julia is so relatable. Like, I don't know if I said it last stream, but she really is relatable. But it doesn't come. All I get is boring bozos in normcore clothes. They walk in, take care of their business without doing anything to amuse me, and walk out. A few minutes later, after I lost all hope, a tall, elegant man marches in with a spring in his step. He looks around, impatient, irritated. Then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches my table, looks at me and says, "Kadir, there you are." Now that's curious. He shouldn't be here. Looks like my prayers were answered. Then goddamn Diesel is here, ready to take me away from this dreadful place in his shining Dodge Charger. Is Michelle Rodriguez in trouble again? Have you made up with The Rock? Will you get justice for Han? Are we going to race? Will you teach me how to live my life a quarter mile at a time? I knew I made the right choice. My dumbest attempt at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eyes, just stares at me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car. Now. His tone leaves no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I want to ask what, but whenever he's in his I will simply ignore all the dumb shit you say mode. I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I silently follow him to the exit. He guides me to his car. I just hope I haven't messed anything up. Again. I don't think I have. But have I? Huh. Kadir's car, as usual. He gave me the back seat. He's always uneasy when the passenger seat is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Normally, I'd catch him observing me in the rearview mirror. But this time, he's watching the street, more tense than usual. Something must have caught him off guard. In the older editions of Vampire the Masquerade, La Sombras can't even see themselves in the mirror, like they're invisible to mirrors, but in the new version, they're just distorted. Their reflections are distorted. I've got my seatbelt on and popcorn ready. What's up? The awkward silence feels like it will last forever. Eventually, he finds the right words and speaks up. 6 weeks ago, the prince told me to parley with the anarchs at the docks, remember? The Anarch Movement. The loosely organized sect of political outsiders opposing the modern, Camarilla-dominated paradigm? They seek to end the tyranny of the elders, but from what I've seen in NYC, they've just replaced one hierarchy with another, more loosely defined. Sup? Oh, focus. Hello, Luna. How are you? Yeah, and you made me tag along so that I could learn something about politics. As it turned out, politics meant something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at a wedding party. There was this man who didn't need to shout to make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room, their leader, white hair, a monocle, musty clothes. Ugh. I hate this guy. I really wanted to kill him in Coteries, but I was told he got murdered in this game. With this fucking Pollock cunt. Scrooge McDuck, yeah, how can I forget? A lot of paniche, old-timey bravado and gendered insults flung my way. What was his name? Something British. Made me think of Hollywood Callahan? Baron Callahan. Douglas Boss Callahan. Baron. A powerful anarch. Basically a warlord. Barons are often up-jump licks who have strong-armed their way into control over a building or even a city block. In NYC, especially in Douglas Callahan's case, it often seems suspiciously like a form of traditional governance to me. Right, it's 2020, but the man's opinions and ideas were stuck in 1920. Weren't the anarchs supposed to be the progressive option? I never understood why they put up with him. He has his ways of predicting which way the wind will blow. Anytime Camarilla or the SI hit the anarchs, it was the factions opposed to him that were hurt. The luckiest bastard in the world. Thought you didn't believe in luck. I don't. But it sure looks like his luck has finally ran out tonight. Huh. Wait, don't tell me. He's dead? Deader than dead? I'm 99% sure the bastard met his final death. How do you know? We've got trustworthy sources in the Anarch inner circles. Looks like all hell is about to break loose. There's an emergency meeting at the art hall. Jesus, and you're bringing me with you? Why? Because you're on the way. Because I could. Because I could. Because I should. You might not be important to the members of the court, but you're still an asset to the sect. Symbolically, at least. I can justify sneaking you into the party claiming it's for your own protection. As always, my very own Vin Diesel takes care of his familia. Tch. Wait a minute though. The party is still happening? I called the prince, told her the best course of action is to stop it and started listing security protocols. I prepared for these sort of situations. She interrupted me halfway through and told me we will discuss the subject face to face. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The party's that important, huh? But the party's so important. Right now, Julia's the only active member of the La Sombra because Karen, her sire, just disappeared. Why wasn't she invited? Don't tell me there's like... Sometimes there's no people watching, but this is YouTube. Most of the time, people just watch the VODs. You don't need to talk if you don't want to. Like, if it's too awkward, I'm not gonna force you to talk. I'm not one of those streamers who want to shoehorn in, darn it, my mind's dead. Participation? You do whatever you want. You could even talk about things that are not related to the stream. Like, sometimes I let people talk about Warhammer, Magic the Gathering. I still read them and try to understand what's going on. But, yeah. You do you. I'm a relaxed streamer. I do have rules, but there's mostly like political and, well, anti-political and, you know, just generally being nice to people. So they should be easy to follow. Did I read this already? Politics. Politics is that important. I don't know if he's trying to convince me or himself. And once again, politics sound an awful lot like a bunch of party-loving assholes shouting at each other. Don't worry, this isn't the kind of, how should I call it, governing issue the likes of you and I tend to deal with. And how would you describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? Shoveling ourselves out of shit? As usual, he seems a little embarrassed for cussing, or being too honest. Either way, it's cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay silent as the car rides off toward the unknown. I'm not a New York baron. The Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, a memory of an old douchebag who thought he could rule the world crosses my mind. Well, it looks like the world has left him behind. Sayonara, asshole. And here I am, at the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight, the art hall. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively. Even if they don't know it's an emergency, they simply don't care. Wait, even if they know it's an emergency. Why did I complete that sentence? What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea. Do I? I think the bouncer will let you in. There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just start walking, well. And here I am among partying elites. It's as stuffy and boring as I expected, but hey, at least it's exclusive. The title Panhard came up with for these yearly gatherings is called Celebrations of Power, an invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and spaces they inhabit. A week-long event is packaged as a sort of performance art piece, meant to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. We need to counter program the omnipresent image of tragic vampirism with images that remind us we have inherited the earth, and are now free to remake it in our image, is the way our prince puts it. To this end, she organizes a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the party and business meetings are the most important. My prince. Ah, new outfits. She always looks like she's missing eyebrows. Maybe she is. Kadir, finally. A saint with angelic wings. A holy patron of New York City. I take a good look around. Half the figures here are dressed like they're attending a masked ball. So a masquerade. Haha, get it? Vampire the Masquerade? The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know Panhard based it on psychomagic, a sort of somatic psychotherapy using the power of art. Simply put, it's a holy mass and unholy mass in equal measures. A set of rituals meant to make the participants wholly accept that they're both the worst and the best this earth has to offer. Put on this mask at the very least. You're standing out. Here. I heard the aesthetic basis for these parties is the black mass in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Some think this decision means Panhard is tone deaf, but it's quite contemporary. She knows the anarchs are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhythmic that point out glaring contradictions in her theatrical benevolent rule. Theatrical? But instead of denying and suppressing aesthetics designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them. Instead of risking a Southside effect, she effectively defangs the opposition. The resistance becomes a part of the system, and both the Camarilla and the anarchs get the same message. Don't think of it as pathology. Think of it as the new normal. I'll collect the key advisors. They've already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold a meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over there. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Swonsky I see behind you? I'm afraid so. I collected her on my way here because of her role as a La Sama representative. Just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear what's gonna happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. I realized she might become a target and decided to hide her at the art hall. Putting all my eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I will look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Let her stay with you for now, Alisa May. Time is of the essence. I didn't notice him sneak up on us. Nice getup. Are you absolutely sure? But of course, everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Panhard has already come up with the appropriate messaging. Huh. Mr. Mastermind. No, I won't count it as a spoiler because this is literally a sequel and we saw what he did. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl toward the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Alisame. All of the appropriate security protocols for you are already active. Me and the prince have already pulled some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. Mostly under control? Never let anyone sleep any easier. Never let anyone... I said it right. Alisame, I know that as the prince's sword, you're aching for blood. But you have to accept that, like most weapons known to man, you're most effectively hidden in the sheath. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion is in the making, but sadly, I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard. All of a sudden, Samara appears between the two men, her calm and collective voice completely changing the atmosphere, as expected for a professed protector of the peace. Samara, I hope you're enjoying yourself. To be quite honest, I feel out of place. She nods and smiles at me, probably to signal she takes solace in not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Nonsense. We have a delicate matter to discuss, one that might require severe judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wish for a child of Akim to be involved. Wow, he was playing a lot of games. Because I'm getting his Steam notifications. Of course. What is that expression on your face, Kadir? He quickly collects himself. Look who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, Lady Ainsling Sturridge, walks up to our group in an outfit I would have never imagined her in, pretending everything is par for the course. Prince Panhard, the Sheriff, the Harvey, the Banu Hakim, Primogen. Are we still waiting for someone? We're almost here. He's almost here. Shining even more brightly than usual, Ainsley. I adore your outfit, Samira. Wish the prince allowed the same amount of effort for me. I, for one, am glad she didn't. I particularly love those horns. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on at the prince's behest, but I believe she's had more than enough fun. No, not yet. Well, this will do for now. But you're not off the hook yet. I paid a costly price to see you like this. Both Kadir and the prince's voices are strained whenever they attempt humor. Their minds are obviously elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Antorio, on the other hand, seems calm. We will celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now, what is this about? Just one moment. Over here, Addison. The Camarilla's infamous spokesperson approaches, pushed towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. Pained servant. Helene? Everyone? I certainly hope this is something important. With a commanding tone, seeing as Payne can't communicate normally, his servant relays his words to us instead, and he's posh and snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us? He gave me a fair warning he might not make it tonight. I messaged him the details. I'll have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time searching for lost time. I swear it's all I do nowadays, and there's never enough. I guess now you understand why I insist that this event must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, each is serving at least a few hours. A figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Yes, let's cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action. My prince? Antonio? My prince, everyone let me... he took it off. Let me begin by stressing these important points. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway, and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat, we are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callahan, the de facto leader of anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. Their intel is as accurate as it gets. We've also established a Nogi. I'm getting tongue twisted. We've almost established a negotiation channel with the anarchs. They gave us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief. So does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but to simply exclaim it like that. Oh, spare me the vitae signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if we took care of Callahan or not. I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Oh, she also took off her horns. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it, unless someone wants to confess. It's now or never. Of course, nobody speaks up. Antonio pretends to clear his throat. That's our official position as well. The Camarillist ruling body has nothing to do with it, and from all intents and purposes, his anarch contenders had more interest in removing him than we did. That interest is sure to manifest in one way now. His former enemies will prompt him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't just leave the anarchs to their own devices. As much as we'd like to avoid recognizing their second anyway, we've offered to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me ask you one question. You do realize those curs have no respect for our traditions, yes? Our traditions. The 6 traditions form the basis of modern kindred law. The first tradition is Masquerade. Thou shalt not reveal thy true nature. Don't let anyone figure out you're a vampire. Considered the most important of the bunch, but it's loosely interpreted pretty often. I mean, the anarchs do respect the first tradition, the Masquerade. It's the other traditions they don't really care about. The second tradition is Domain. Thy domain is thine own concern. All others owe respect while in it. I'm too much of a nobody to own a domain, so this one doesn't apply to me. The third tradition is progeny. Thou shalt only sire another with permission from thine elder. Basically, birth control. But for vampires, don't use bloodsuckers unless somebody, usually the prince, agrees to it. Fourth tradition is accounting. Those thou create are thine own children. Their sins are thine to endure. If I fuck up real big, Karen should face some consequences, in theory. The fifth tradition is hospitality. Honor one another's domain. Without the word of acceptance, thou art nothing. In NYC, this is usually understood as don't hunt on somebody else's turf. But in a city that houses over 8 million mortals, enforcement of this one is pretty lax. The sixth tradition concerns destruction. Thou art forbidden to destroy another of thine kind. The right of destruction belongeth only to thine elder. You don't get to kill a vampire unless the elder gives you the go-ahead. As sheriff, Kadir has the implicit go-ahead. We do, Addison, but as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the words controlled opposition. Yes, for now it's impossible to fully contain the anarch threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prompt up a candidate who will offer the last resistance to our future plans for the city. We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving him a way to present himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rebel falls in line. The purists grow angry and alienated. We already contacted the best possible person in our sect, in their sect. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his best interest to show he's able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody's paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate Our man's people will barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. The other factions within that sorry excuse for a sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I will do my best to solve this situation as fast as possible. How so? Qadir is momentarily taken aback by Antorio's question. I volunteer to coordinate the case with the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Qadir is stunned. With all due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling this issue and attending to my usual duties at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. Your parchment of working yourself to the bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff. But so is your perfectionism. Is that his obsession? Because he's part of Toreador, and Toreadors are normally obsessed with a form of beauty. So is his form of beauty a job well done? If we do grant your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, you can guarantee you're going to give both these risk your best? Can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee anything very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Alissa May. Not when the vultures are out in force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the anarchs, and there's an obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. They're setting it up. They're gonna call in Julia, aka us, to do this. Oh, yeah, it was participation. Audience participation. Yeah, I don't really ask for that. You guys are free to do whatever you want. I'm not sure if that makes me a good streamer or a bad streamer if I'm giving you that much freedom, but in the same time, I do enforce rules, and I will put people on timeout or even make them ban them from the stream. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebrations will continue as planned, no matter what. This is why your presence here is completely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince. We must be on constant vigil for a few days. Alisum's sword must be constantly pointed at the enemy surrounding us. The timing of the Baron's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch leaders are sure to point at us and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise for us to brace for a lot of unfortunate consequences. Wait, why did I say consequences? Coincidences, Ainsling. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us. But they also think I can't read. But they also can't think we have something to hide. Which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture. One displaying expertly, measured intensely. My best bet is a humble diplomat envoy, a low-level official acting as an investigator of sorts. I implore you, Prince. Kadir? He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla is involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think there's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kadir look at me simultaneously. Everyone else in the room does too. Now, wait a second. He can't possibly mean... Miss Julia. Once again, your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permission before I make up my mind. The sheriff sighs deeply and speaks up. Swinsky. Miss Julia Swinsky, right? I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. That was a long time ago, in a life I don't want to revisit. I understand. Still. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogen insists that you are worthy of greater privileges, and should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samara measures Antorio with suspicion. Yes. Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deep in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, please, please don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good. And I'm sure that Alisa May have no problem. Wait. And I'm sure that you, Alisa May, have no problem with your protege embarking on this mission, save for the pain a mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whether I do or don't is particularly not important right now, is it? Not important. Not. Ah. Wait. Whether I do or don't is not particularly important right now, is it? Okay. I'm getting confused. It absolutely is. Panhardt's backing of Antonio momentarily blindsides him. Prince Panhard, if Antonio's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no. Is the girl capable? Now he knows he's left with no choice. I wouldn't trust her with all the responsibility that I have if she wasn't. He exchanges glances with me, but this look is different than Samara's. It's as if he's trying to apologize to me. Here we are then. A recommendation from the Banu Hakim Primogen and the sheriff. To tell you the truth, I was just throwing out ideas. But this backing, I don't doubt the Night Clan's representative will get the job done. I'm certain each of us feels the same. Mr. Payne? The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here, an averted gaze there. It is as you say. I will watch the way she handles this situation with great interest. Well then, Miss Lewinsky, looks like you've got your chance for a big break. Big break doesn't mean much by itself. All I see is a big responsibility being placed on my shoulder. What do I stand to gain here exactly? Even though I'd normally jump at a chance to be useful, I play it cool. All of a sudden, not only everyone acknowledges my presence, but believes I can handle a tense criminal case. If something goes too good to be true, if something seems too good to be true. Let's not be vulgar now. You stand to improve your standing at the court. Yes, we can discuss the particulars based on your performance. Yeah, they don't plan on giving me shit. Figures. It's not like I can refuse, but this is something I need to take into account while taking care of this case. I need a bargaining position if I want to get anything out of this. Yeah, I'll do it. Just point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. Excellent. That leaves us with only one more matter, which I hope we can agree on. Prince Panhard signals someone with their hand. The figure emerges from the corner. Good evening. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you were in town. Addison, looking healthy as ever. Looking healthier than ever. And what does voice have to do with it? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects. And as it happens, Catherine always knew how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I beg to differ. I'd be grateful, just for once. You decided against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses Ainsling's face, but she is quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself she can prove herself useful to the proceedings, in some way. If half of what I heard about her from Mr. Vinderweiden is true, she should be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific. One always has to read between the lines with him. It was mostly envy. Miss Ways gracefully agreed to mediate between the Anarch representative and the La Sombra representative, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflicts. That felt like a Philogene slip. La Sombra representative, not Camarilla representative, i.e. someone who can be catapulted from the sect without much damage to the ivory tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Ontario looks at the clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour. You'd better hurry then. What the hell? All of this is happening so fast. If this is blah 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 blah. If the situation is indeed under control, I will drive her to oversee the situation. Out of the question. You got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool. The girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. But it's not as if the Anarch has a lot of love for you, Al-Asame. You're too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Better spare Miss Wonsky having them see you two together. Do you think my guidance of Julia would be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So, do you have any objections to putting her under my care? She lowers her gaze, but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I needed to hear. We'll be going then. Wasting no time as usual, I see. Have you at least tried the apparatus? Waiting is an old person's game, Helene. I still feel young. Remember, if there's anything you need help with, probably not. But I appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave in a rush. Funny, considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighborhood somewhere in Queens. Seemed like you were in a rush. I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest. Probably performatively. So just to get into my good graces, well, it's working. And why is that? In my experience, gatherings like those always enable boring pack mentality. All the familiar lies we tell ourselves to justify lusting for more. Added ad alum. Nauseam? And what lies do you tell? And what lies are you telling yourself? Her aura immediately turns colder. You have bigger issues to worry about, sweetheart. Well, at least now I know how familiar I can get with her. That I do. Back at the art hole, you said something about guiding me. I have zero idea what to do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements to make over the phone before we got here to ensure your pretty little head stays attached to your neck. For now, anyway. I'm grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used you used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigate a murder. In TV shows where an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a politically in incendiary case, it rarely goes well. A cat on their porch, a bullet to the head. So, are you are you afraid you might be a pawn in a game you don't understand? That your elders consider you a disposable asset? That a single wrong move might cost you everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah. Well, by the sound of it, you understand your situation perfectly. Don't belittle me. I need your advice. Be anything you be anything you want, but don't be boring, Julia. If I want to belittle you, I would have drowned you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself. Believe in your strength. Trust no one. Act confident. Turn the chessboard around and read your opponent chessboard. I'm hungry. Chessboard around and read your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu and quote him incessantly. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as Mia is still not here, of course. Mia! Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Did you know him? Only passingly. I'm afraid I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? You do not want a painfully honest answer, but I do. She stares me down. Her irrelevant tone makes it impossible to guess what she's feeling, even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful, someone whose hunger is purely biological, just an animalistic rush. The hunger. The vampire's urge to feed. It overpowers all other needs, and trying to ignore it is said to be easier way to prime the beast, the dark, always blood-hungry passenger that accompanies every vampire's life for a hostage takeover. When I saw a bludgeoning path to put you in a situation, this is that is way beyond your capabilities. I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colors reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done, and Callahan's killer is pointed out, will you be a whimpering animal, or a victor taking the spoils? I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me, or... Mia should be here any second. You have time for one more question. I hope I'm not being rude, but, is there a reason you keep your face hidden? Yes, there is a reason, and yes, you are being rude. Sorry, just curious. I understand, but let's just say I prefer everyone to come up with their own theories. The more stories they'll invent, the less relevant the truth will be. But anyway, here's Mia. Apparently, Catherine is from an older Vampire the Masquerade game, and she's existed in the tabletop as well. A woman around my age emerges from around the corner of the street. Hey Mia, long time no see. I've never met her before, but if I had to describe her in 2 words by her aura alone, I guess those words would be permanently angry, even more so than your average anarch. You must be Catherine Race. And you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The pleasure's mutual. This your girl? Julia Swensky, the La Sombra primogen. The La Sombra representative. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's a habit. Good, if you're a primogen, I might have tried to kill you here and now. Is Torque still on the site? Nah, I told him I'd take it from here. By the end tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for the leader of the NYC Anarchs. It's gonna take a lot of driving around and negotiations. How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feelings, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the cause did. It's this complicated mess of all the possible feelings under the moon. So he was the first one who's seen the murder site? Oh, so you're already calling it a murder site? Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them think it's Torque who stood to benefit. Wait, stood? Think it's Torque who stood to benefit the most from the boss's death, and it sounds like he's quick to jump on new opportunities. You don't know him. Yes, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he was the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Torque at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for him to see you this week. This week? Are the tensions too high for a delay in an investigation like this? Well, Torque's work is our best shot at making sure they won't get higher. So boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman though. You got any questions, direct them to me. Maybe the two of you should just head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming? Torque and you are the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you can take it from here. And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the two of you would have worked up on the same side of the barricades. Wait, why did I say work? I expected the two of you would have ended up on the same side of the barricades. Uh-huh. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me. I'll show you his place. Ah, there's the body. It's a 19th century style office. Classical, wooden, smelly. The stuffy air of books, old furniture, and dust covers much of the fragrance of decay, but not at all. This is the first time I've seen the remains of a vampire who's met final death. I've heard stories of really old kindred crumbling to dust, but it's an exaggeration, at least. If it hadn't... At least it didn't happen here. When kindred die, time catches up with them. If you offed me right now, I'd probably turn into an ugly, leaky corpse, but Callahan was well over a century old. It's like looking at a dapper mummy. A dissected body in a heap of musty clothes. All that is left of the mighty boss Douglas Callahan, Anarch Baron of New York City. if it's really him. Needless to say, it might be a little hard to establish the time of death or the cause immediately, especially at his garb. Especially as his garb doesn't have any obvious damage. What a great place to start. Have you already found anything suspicious? Nothing you don't see in front of you. Uh-huh. This door is the only point of entry to the room, right? Yes, unless you count the windows, but nobody except for Callahan knew how to operate those, and they don't let air or light through. Metal binders on the windows facing east. The only modern element of the room, sticking out like a sore thumb. Why did I say sore thumb? Wait. I'm confused now. They look automated. Was the door open when Torque got here? Well, that's the one suspicious thing. It wasn't. It's as if Callahan locked himself in from the inside. A closed room murder, huh? There's some shattered glass on the floor. I point at it. Could that be from the window? I checked it from the outside. It's in perfect condition. So what's this glass? I have no idea. Why does it seem like she has suspicions, but is remaining uncooperative just because, fuck off, Camarilla scum. I auto-corrected that to Cammy because, you know, damsel. I checked the next point of interest. A wall safe, surprisingly large. I play with the lock a bit. What's the combination? It's Callahan's. What makes you think I know? At least I tried. A desk with nothing but an envelope on it. Nothing inside. I check all the drawers. Every single one has been thoroughly emptied. I don't know what I expected. Is this how the anarchs go around securing crime scenes? Were these emptied before Torque arrived? I don't know, but I wouldn't accuse him of tampering with the evidence if I were you. Well, thank you. The decor of the room is pretty minimal, so there's not a lot of points of interest that could illuminate the case. I start getting nervous. I point at the painting on the wall. Of course, you have no idea who that is. Callahan's ancestor, I guess. I'm out of ideas. Everything I look at feels like another dead end. I'm frustrated. I feel as if I failed this investigation before it even started. There must be something more. I start walking around, trying to find a single clue. Mia just watches me indifferently. Give me anything. Anything, goddammit. Anything. A shadow blinks in and out of existence near Callahan's remains. I freeze in silence. I freeze in place. The Lasam, oh yeah, Oblivion, the shadow discipline, also got merged with necromancy. So yeah. Are you trying to help me? What are you mumbling about? In case you missed it, I'm not particularly fond of your sect. Doesn't seem like Mia noticed it. Give me a moment. Give me just a moment more. She groans under her nose and goes back to messaging someone on her phone. When she does, the shadow appears again. Once again, blinking in and out of once again, blink in, blink out. Could something be here? I approach the clothes and start searching them for a clue. Maybe they missed something. Getting desperate, huh? Just being thorough. We've searched that bastard like 3 times. He had nothing of interest on him. How about this? A small card, barely noticeable. Looking a bit like a shopping list. It's shoved deep into an invisible hole in the fabric. I take it out and show it to Mia. Huh. You didn't plant that there, did you? No, did you? Shove off. What's on it? Ah! They're my friends from the first game. Coteries of New York. They're the Coterie. It's a list of 4 names. D'Angelo, Hope, Agathon, Tamika. Any idea what this is about? Beats me. She's lying, but I don't care. Tomorrow night I will meet up with Kudir and ask him to help me figure it out. Think I'm done here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Guess she sees me as nothing more but an enemy agent. When will I get to meet Turk? If, and that's a big if, he will agree to meet you on a one-to-one basis. Catherine will let you know. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you see him without her oversight anyway. Camarilla lapdog, huh? It's a risky play, of course, and might backfire. But maybe I'd benefit if I put my loyalty to the court into question. A Camarilla lapdog? Please. Well, aren't you? Trust me, I'm not the type who bites the hand that feeds her, but the court's favorite pastime is leaving me starved. So it's like that, huh? Trait updated? Yeah. What's the traits about? Wait. She studies me carefully. I will keep that in mind, depending on how the situation unfolds. Good. In the meantime, have a good night. You too. It's getting late, or early depending on how you look at it. Once I leave Callahan's office, I head straight to Dakota's apartment. I try to sneak by my bedroom, but she's up waiting for me. How's your night? Shit. Tomorrow. What happened? You look like something the cat dragged in. Tomorrow, I promise. But I'm worried. Don't be. Tomorrow. She gives me a concerned look, then closes her eyes, slumps her shoulders and frowns. Alright. You're the best. I reach my pitch black room and throw myself onto the bed. Darn it, Hiva! The responsibilities, the stakes, the way I feel too slow to react properly in these situations. I don't want to think. I want to turn off my brain. I want to drift into the void. Into the void. Into the void. Into the void. Oh! Tutorial. You have received your first trait. Some choices in the game will push Julia towards different ways of thinking, which will have a lasting effect on her throughout the story. You will see a brief pop-up on top of the screen anytime that you receive a new trait. You can always view any unlocked traits in the log screen, accessed through the top right icon. Wait, top left, top right, wait. Top left, why did I say top right? I am stupid. I'm tired, I am hungry. Remember that rootlessness is the mark of a true La Sombra, but you might walk another path before reaching that destination. I'll try to be balanced. Like, I'll be ruthless when I need to be, and I'll be gentle if I have to be. That tends to be my mentality anyways. So, Julia's traits. Loyal to myself. Huh. Always told you you'd make it big. Get real. These assholes are just... I was told there's 2 endings to this game, and apparently the good ending feels like a bad ending, and the bad ending feels like a good ending, but we will see. These assholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid 4th-dimensional chess game. As opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard. Don't be a glass-half-empty buzzkill. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. I feel like that's foreshadowing for one of the endings. That would be exciting. I could write a book about living with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't even joke like that. I haven't killed anyone. Julia, honey, neither did Oswald. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting. Stop wiggling, I'll mess up your face. Sorry. I'll mess your face up. I am hungry. I'm getting confused. I'm sleepy. I'm feeling so many things right now. I'm always obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially your face, when you can't even see yourself in a mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind I'm her goth dress-up doll. Her presence in my unlife is one of the few things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally, I'd be told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, finds the idea of ghouls distasteful. Not so much in V5, apparently, because they were given an added weakness of, you know, technology. Like, the mirror thing could be like, oh, I don't need a ghoul. Some will still get ghouls, but still. The ones who care about their appearance. But technology, yeah, you need a ghoul for that. Ghoul. What you get when you give a mortal your vampire blood without draining theirs first? An underling, a toady, a thrall. My clan don't really like to use them. Hell, Karen thought the very concept was beneath her and refused to explain it. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. That kind of relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade's rules, but the rules are different for kindred who are Camarilla adjacent, even losers like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of that discussion. To be honest, I think the court mostly agreed to that request because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your elite's wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks pedophile rings, look for the assholes who mention pizza suspiciously often, see who has powerful friends in Manhattan jails, stuff like that. Oh, come on. Now I'm serious. Search for the deep rot, and a lot of smaller crimes will get involved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having ice wide shot parties, and suddenly you don't believe in rich people's pedophile rings? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. My point is, you act as if all the conspiracy theories are real. Like, you can't possibly believe all that shit. Half of it doesn't even make sense. Well, you want an interesting answer or a real answer? The real answer should be the more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face to gather her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in facts that fail to cohere into a single convincing narrative or story that resonates. The corporate media want you to believe in empirical thinking, but it always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and people desperately lack those. So what do? Turn to conspiracists, and suddenly they are able to navigate the world. And why is that? Because conspiracy theories give them emotional truths that serve as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. Now, is he a terrible person? No idea, but there's ample evidence that might be the case. It's in his ruthless business strategies the company used to keep the philosophies he follows. People look at him and they feel he's fishy. So when the media presents him as a genius or a savior, and I post he wants to put the mark of the beast in my body, they choose to believe me. Because it makes moral, emotional, and metaphysical sense to them, and ultimately, that's what matters most. The end. I feel like she's just explaining Twitter. I don't know if I want to engage with the contents of this rant too deeply. You came up with this monologue yourself? Oh no, I read it on Facebook. Oh, figures. But just to make sure, vaccines are okay. Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Good to hear. Anywho, I'm done. You're the best. Why is she doing the makeup shirtless? Won't like putting a shirt on like smudge her face unless Julia wears a button up. Yeah, considering how many times I've done makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough job experience to be a mortician by now. Now that sounds like an exciting career, but in reality, it is probably the most boring thing under the sun. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty, and self-loathing. Shut up, this carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, Tiger. Wow, Mary Jane vibes. The first thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. He should have time for me in an hour or two. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some... What's a dehumanizing word I can use here? Nourishment. Oh, the other one was virtue. My head auto-corrected it to vitae. Kadir told me I'd need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. It kills you, he said. But to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, and that uses up precious vitae. Vitae, an ancient term for blood. In my experience, rarely found outside of dusty textbooks and pompous Camarilla speeches. I love cigarettes, the way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling from the top. The sound of the lighter. The way they kill you, of course. But I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I was alive. Okay, New York City, guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I shall drink up tonight. Diva's Delight. A fitting name for a kiss addict, Antuous enough to openly pitch her unique tastes. A slap on the wrist. Samara is asking me to meet her. If not for the ongoing celebrations, the petition would have an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful. Bunny as a reporter. The note left on my old dead drop point reads, Bunny as a reporter. Shit, it could be Woods? I'm curious. Honestly, sweeping through Evergreen Cemetery is in search for Nigel Woods was the last thing I expected to be doing tonight. And yet, here I am. The past refuses to let me out of its grip, even for a few days. Hell, a black limo almost ran me over on my way here. I can't get a break, can I? It takes me less than a minute to find Nigel. He's standing next to the gravestone of John Bunny, one of the most famous actors of the 1910s. Why there exactly? Well, the man is paranoid, which is why we were forced to come up with such an unpredictable method of choosing rendezvous points. It had to be ambiguous enough to seem incidental to casual onlookers, but responsibly uncomplicated to that this dumbass couldn't mess it up. So we decided on silent film actors. Whenever he wanted to meet, he left me a note with an obscure movie title. Then I only had to look up who starred in it, make my way to their final resting place. Yeah, maybe it feels somewhat goofy and unnecessary, but it's also been fun. And ridiculing Woods for his paranoia would be a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. There he is, idling away his time on his smartphone, rapidly swiping left and noticeably increasing frustration. Too many girls who actually know what they want from life in a row, Nigel. Don't worry, I'm definitely not that type. Probably read that wrong, but yeah. It was me all along. What did you start? I mean, honestly, what haven't you started? When he sees me, he acts as if he's seen a ghost. A regular comedian. The man holds a few feet away from me and crosses his arms, giving me a dirty look. What the hell have you been up to these days, Swansky? Too busy for your old pal? You never write? You never call? He puts on this completely unconvincing frown, but quickly loses it, bursting into sincere laughter. Shit, Jules, not gonna lie, it's good to see you. Looking good, gal. I mean, you're still all doom and gloom, and even paler than usual, but I always had a soft spot for your bony ass. Come here, give your uncle a hug. I know I said I'll be gentle sometimes, but this is funny. I extend my arms, stiffen my lips in a parody of a smile, and let the perv come closer. As soon as his arm As soon as he's at arm's length, I take a swing and swipe that grin off his face with a vicious bitch slap. He groans in an exaggerated way and raises his hands in surrender. Alright, I get it. And to think we used to... Cut to the chase, Woods. This isn't a social invitation. And I have only so much patience for your innuendos. What do you want? Still quick to get right to the point, huh? Very well. I've been trying to put together a piece on some particularly unseemly business in the deep web. One of my plugs pointed me to the direction of Double Spiral, saying that. Double Spiral. Am I even surprised that name keeps coming up again and again? It still kinda haunts me. Of course, I made sure it would. I still keep tabs on Montgomery from time to time, constantly reliving those 16 months I slaved away for nothing. It might have just been another part of Karen's hazing ritual, but I have a feeling that even if it wasn't the case, Brian would have still be told to kill the story. Some dirt on this internet whiz goes by the name of Hope. She supposedly has some close dealings with the Montgomery clan. Ever heard of her? I'm not an expert on the concept. Can't say I'm familiar with the name in question though. With the person in question though. Wait. My brain says auto-correcting stuff now. Can't say I'm familiar with the person in question either. I'm lying, of course. Feigning apathy. The name strikes a chord, being one of the 4 jolted down on Callahan's list. Coincidence? Kadir insisted I shouldn't believe in these. As far as I can tell, she's mostly involved in some kinky porno stuff involving schizophrenia, body maiming, loss of blood. Shit's borderline occult. My cover's blown though. I think someone's after me. Still, I've got a few useful leads which I'd happily exchange for some Benjamins before I go AWOL. Interested? Knowing him, these few leads are completely worthless, but with his luck, he really might have strayed into dangerous waters. What's useless to him proved useful to me. If I play along, he wouldn't know I'm no longer in this line of work. Do you expect me to buy your intel sight unseen? No dice, Nigel. Break it down for me. I won't screw you over. You know me better than that. He sighs audibly, sizing me up and down. After a brief moment, he raises his voice again. Alright, what do you want to do? What do you want to know? Whatever your porn-addicted ass considers to be of value. Nigel closes his eyes, pondering where to begin. Now, this might sound complicated, so can I send you some useful YouTube videos later? But, here we go. For the next few minutes, Nigel explains his findings while desperately trying, and mostly failing, to make them sound like something more than dumb urban legends. Among the many trends, he mentions blood trafficking, secret turf wars, a coven of Masonic lounges types, the biblical flood, the businessmen consorting with the devil in search of immortality. To common ears, all this would sound like some Bozo conspiracy theory, but from what I can gather, he's flying dangerously close to the sun. At the moment, he doesn't know jack shit, and has no proof of anything, meaning he doesn't pose any real danger to the Masquerade. But his conviction in following every possible lead was what made me work with him in the first place. God damn it. I'm not sure if I could just let him go. You know, Nigel, I actually watched our friend John Bunny here portray a reporter in one of his silent pictures. In the film, he disguised himself as a woman and infiltrated a secret suffrage meeting. Of course, he fucked it up and got chased up a tree by an angry, axe-wielding liberalist. This kind of journalism makes infinitely more sense than the bullshit you're sprouting right now. Sorry. I know how it sounds, Jules, but I have this itch in the back of my head telling me there's more to it than it seems. And you know, my sixth sense hardly ever fails me. I think it's horseshit, and I'll leave it at that. So, about that Hope girl, got something worth pursuing? Maybe. She's an enigma. A total fucking mystery. The only thing I'm certain of is that she exists and enjoys streaming for an exclusive audience. By exclusive, she streams to herself. I started the vampire were because they suck. You know, you're breaking the Masquerade. If you started the Vampire War, that means you've been around since the Dark Ages, Spiraled. Supposedly, she's into cryptocurrencies. You know, those Bitcoin things. I could never make any sense of it. It's a scramble, I know. But I promise you that somewhere within lies a juicy story for someone like you to pursue. Hell, I have a hunch that if we join forces, we might really hit it big this time. Thoughts? This idiot, this intel of his sounds like a cheap pulp novel. No one in their right minds is going to pay a dime for it. It'll ruin his credibility, if he still has any. If he persists in spreading this bullshit, it would probably completely neuter his ability to harm us eventually. But if the Ivory Tower gets wind of his activities, Kudir is going to get involved. He's going to ask questions, and the answers will get both me and Nigel in trouble. You're awfully quiet, Jules. Speak up. You're creeping me out. I'm sorry, Nigel. Just a bit, but still. What? If I let him escape, that's gonna be a pain in my back. Like Julia said, Kadir will get involved, and when Kadir is involved, things are really serious. He freezes in place as I gaze into his eyes. There is no blood trafficking or secret turf war going on in New York City. You have nothing on Double Spiral, and there is no hope. You made all of it up. The idea you have instead is a non-fiction book about toxic masculinity. You're going to do your research, and you're going to pitch the book to everyone as a real expert on the subject. He stands completely perplexed, suppressing layers of rewritten memories, with his mouth open wide. Stuck in a bizarre pose, he looks like a total goofball. I can't help but snort. John Bunny couldn't compare, especially if our guy really follows his own programming and comedy of errors ensures. He's going to recover in any in a couple of minutes, but I'm not sticking around. This trick has taken its toll on me. I can only keep my fingers crossed that it sticks. Best to bury the memory of this meeting along with the rest of my past. Wait, I could have rested. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smiles at me as the elevator door opens. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismiss the question with an apathetic shrug. He sizes me up for a brief moment, visibly questioning my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well. This way, please. NYC's it's French. Le cooks rich seem awfully hungry for gourmet soup this late at night. The patrician is packed almost to the brim. The conjugate points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in the far-off corner of the main hall. I nestle in my chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth. Watch out. Watch out. Oblivious white colors. There's a black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here. Might as well just kick back and die of boredom. Yeah. I really need something to occupy my mind. A quick glance at the nearby grandfather clock momentarily stupefies me. Barely 10 minutes have passed since my arrival, but it feels like I've been sitting here for at least an hour. Enough's enough. I wave at the conjugate, inadvertently making a scene. Might as well bring some much-needed Palestine vibes to this place. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you. The congregate quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between the tables and addresses me before I can even utter a single word. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Miss Swonsky by chance? As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. The note reads, "The manager of this establishment insulted the Camarill's authority with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgression must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter." Such a display of goodwill on your part would surely improve your standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate non-lethal punishment. S. Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect anyone with the investigation. I guess instead, just another chore. The best I can hope for is that this really is a friendly request, and not the elaborate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Damn it. Might as well get it done, since I'm already here, so I can move on with more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He frowns his brow as soon as he notices me. I'm afraid I'm busy. One of the waiting staff should be able to... We have something to discuss. The VIP lounge. Now, if you please. His face loses color. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other more blue-blooded guests. He immediately becomes compliant as I escort him through a side door. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as he can be as he sees the patrons out. But I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks for his staff to give him 5 minutes in the lounge, and gingerly closes the door behind him. Then the pleading starts. Listen, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. How could I have noticed he's one of the proper clients? I don't give a... Listen, hey. I would never. I implore you. I have children, for Christ's sake. There must be something in an arrangement. A way to... He goes on as if I'm not even here. With each subsequent whimper, he becomes more and more irritating. Just shut up for a goddamn second. My outburst makes him hold his tongue. I light up my last cigar in the packet and take a slow puff, trying to compose myself. I have no use for your explanations and justifications. I don't know what sort of transgression you've committed. I should have never let this Sanskrit guy in. Truth be told, I don't give a shit. It will never happen again. I swear on my mother's grave, just... I'm not that good a judge of character, but him pleading with his arms out really makes him look like a biblical wayward son, swearing to change his way. I mean, Samara said do it non-violently, but I was curious, okay? When it said brand him, I know he means, but I know she means now I know she means cigarette. I grab his hand in a tight grip, palm up, take a puff to rekindle the burning tip of my cigarette. He doesn't fight back. You and I both know they will want proof that I gave you a lesson you won't forget. So I hope you realize that this is mercy. I put my smoke out in the palm of his hand to the accompaniment of his muffled screams. His eyes become watery, but other than that, he takes it like a champ. If I have to come back to this shithole, the next one will go right here. I look him in the eye and carelessly flick his eyelid before taking off. I didn't know I was capable of this sort of cruelty, but here we are. Karen warned me that something in our bloodline finds shriveling weaklings detestable. Is that what triggered me? My controller isn't working. There we go. But that's a conundrum for another occasion. I did what I was asked, and I'm sure as hell wasted enough time here. I should move on. Alright, it's about time I head to see Kadir. Mighty kind of him to arrange a meeting in the place that's most convenient for me. D'Angelo, Hope, Tamika, Agathon. I think this is the first time we saw a close-up background image. I suppose that's better than nothing, but no evidence, really? Honestly, it felt like as if someone had cleaned up the incongruous stuff before I arrived. Sounds like the Anarchs. I'll definitely try and check that place again, but I feel I need some sort of expert to accompany me. An experienced investigator who would show me the ropes. Someone tall and handsome, maybe. Yeah. If you don't mind a diplomatic incident, I'll go with you. Any better ideas? Actually, this very note gave me one, but I will need to set it up first. I'll get back to you about it. You know these people? I've had passing contact with each of them. Part and parcel of the job, you know. I suppose. Can you help me out with this? The way I tackle it would be look at one person on the list every night, ask around about them, and see what they know if you manage to meet them. If I manage to meet them? They're not particularly easy to get a hold of. Always preferred to be a little off the grid, but nowadays they're all practically in hiding, if not MIA, or dead. Funny coincidence? I mean, they were part of the coterie of the lost character. It is not my job to speculate. In other words, he knows something, but is not at liberty to say. Guess I'll find out anyway if I do meet them. And why one night each? Shouldn't I investigate every loose thread until we're satisfied? In a perfect world, you'd have all the time you needed, but this is not a perfect world. They'll try to brute force a solution to the case as soon as possible. I suspect that 4 nights from now, once the celebrations of power are over, they'll ask you for your findings, and that will be all. Fucked up. To be brutally honest, my focus wouldn't be on solving the murder. Instead, I'd focus on not embarrassing yourself. Fucked up. This is part of why I didn't want you to get involved. You can't possibly think Antonio had you involved out of the goodness of his heart. The entirety of your investigation is just for show. You were meant to be an unwitting actor. Maybe I should just call Mia and be like, you know what? Fuck these condescending ivory tower clowns. I want to work with you. But then again, if I was with the Anarchs, they'd probably delegate me even shittier tasks to me. If, and that's a really big if, they'd think I was some kind of inside agent in the first place. Better stick to Camarilla. But if they're hell-bent on stabbing me in the back at every opportunity, maybe it's time to think about how I can repay the favor. Play dirty, no matter what Kadir thinks of it. After all, from where I'm standing, there's no other way but up. A penny for your thoughts? I take a drag from my cigarette. Thought schmaltz. I'm angry. What do you expect? Something different from the norm, I suppose. My anger levels are above the norm, I suppose. It's a nasty situation, but not one without a possible good ending in sight. So I hope you can channel that anger into something productive. I can try. Where should I go first? You should go with me. As it happens, I'm only out here because I was ordered to drive Ainsley to the art hall. And guess the name of her protege. Oh, so that's who Agathon is? Or was. Nobody knows. It's a complicated thing. You'll see. I'm on the clock, so let's get a move on. Vin Diesel rides again. Still not done with that? Still not done with this bit? Not while it's still bothering you. I'm leaving you behind if you don't keep up. As I already told Kadir, and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened to Agathon. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Ainsley's usual hangout place these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any idea about his connection to kindred going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional, one and never meddling in his personal affairs. Unless they influenced our work, that is. But it only happened one time. Ah yes, the infamous Juno case. Could that Juno case be the reason he's missing? I seriously doubt it. For many reasons, I think the boys lost his appetite for studying blood magic and set out to do a little soul searching. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favored by folks with a perfect grasp on severe I think that's French again. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he started, begging me to take him back in. The boy is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, que sera, sera. No skin off my back. Huh, it is a button-up. So, won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. A researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering the worst-case scenario seriously, and just takes things as they come. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their own head long ago. That's a cheery thought. I like to search the Chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriff already did that, long ago. You'd just be wasting your time, and ours, for that matter. Didn't you say Helene was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 15 minutes, Ainsley. A minimal support for an ongoing investigation, and besides, she has proactivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes, and if you attempt to pass this door or that one over there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Reginald. Just get on with it. My time here is practically up. I found nothing of use. It seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as barren as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. It's all research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's loose. Oh, shadows. Was that? Yeah. It was facing this way, huh? I approached the place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall and, One of the bricks is loose. Kadir and Aisling are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humor in the little things. It's a meeting, Sheriff. That's all there's to it. It's time. I work the loose brick until I can grip it. Then I tug it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside there's a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. Your 10 minutes are up. So are your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. It did look like Agathon left it so that someone in the chantry could find it. Presumably the High Regiment. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Kadir and Aisley adieu and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. That's a motel again. From the first game. This place right here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. I start quickly scheming the book, signaling out sentences and paragraphs that look interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or is, I hope. Yeah, this game shows Julia a lot more compared to the past protagonists. The more I read, the clearer the image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regiment for 15 years. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He always describes himself as too slow on the uptake, too late to learn anything, too much of an amateur. He was really into tying his self-worth to his wisdom. The entries begin in 2012 are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. If there's anything to his own life besides work, it's his relationship with the 3 important women he holds dear. The first is his master, Aisling Sturbridge, whom he reveres for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about her secretive work here, but no dice. Looks like he was willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life, but not anything that could harm her studies. A good pupil serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. The second is another warlock. His ex-lover, Juno, whom he feels guilty about. They had a conflict in which Aisling was involved. Having to choose between the two, he chose Aisling. According to Agathon, there was never real love between him and Juno. First, it was just shared interests, then a growing disconnect, and ultimately guilt, which made him feel responsible for her. But maybe it's just excuses. He strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside his head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. I know what you're doing, Julia, but this is not a rabbit hole you'd want to get stuck in right now. Keep reading. Anyway, last but not least, Agathon's mortal grandmother, Sylvia. She is the light of his life, and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Her family used to serve a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was retribution for their escape. She was the leader mayor used to track him down, actually. He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago her heart gave up. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills, the kind of man who carries the entire world on his shoulders. Why didn't he just ghoul her? Like, I know ghouls don't exactly remove the illness, but they can alleviate the symptoms until the next feeding. Left alone with Ainsling, he drowned himself in work, and eventually burnt out. But it doesn't sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his depression. But it doesn't sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his desperation spiral. There was some kind of incident back in 2019. He doesn't cite specifics. Another thing he was worried about writing down. It's all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. He's talking about the protagonist from Croteries. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandmother's death. New York City stopped feeling like a home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque. His words. I checked the first page. There's a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile, and striking a rather dramatic pose. At first, it looks kind of posterish to me. However, upon closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. The final melancholic glance he throws in your direction before disappearing for good. There's also a black feather. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Something's written next to the photograph with a lot of flourish. It looks like a poem. More than annoyed, sad. More than sad, unhappy. More than unhappy, suffering. More than suffering, abandoned. More than abandoned, left alone in the world. More than alone, exiled. More than exiled, dead. More than dead, forgotten. The Sedative, 1917, by Marie Laurentien. Probably butchered that name too. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent with this diary to me. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, so he doesn't even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was for posterity. But that's not all. There's still a mystery to be solved. Quite a few pages toward the end are missing, but it doesn't look like they were necessarily removed to redact information. They were torn off in a way that makes it clear the paper wasn't even used. There's more. Preceding pages are empty as well. Could be that's when it happens again. I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Bleed. I turn to catch a glance as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster right now, it would be jumping out of my chest. It's discomforting. I've been seeing these apparitions ever since I turned into this. The worst part is, I feel they were always there. Even as a mortal, they were there. They were there sometimes in the corner of my eye, disappearing when I try to look directly at them, making me think as if my mind's playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times they don't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times they try to force you to do their bidding. And worst of all, no, I don't want to think about it right now. Still, in my experience, they aren't exactly, I don't know, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to help. I opened the book to the first empty page and look around to make sure nobody is staring. Then I cut myself using a razor I keep in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice, just enough to let a droplet of vitae fall into the page. That's when the letters appear. Look at me, clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted. I turn to spec a Camarilla spec at that. Reserved contempt. What are you rock for, boy? Laugh at me. Ridicule is all I this. So that's what Agathon looks like now. Come on. Don't stand there like an idiot. You want to say something? Say it. What the hell? This is the last thing I expected to happen. The diary. This diary is haunted. A series of quickly changing sentences and images composed of shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view. It's like scattered remnants of emotions, similar to a half-remembered dream, full of holes, but an honest expression of one's mind. Might be interacting with me? It's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it would show me Callahan. And was that Ellis Island? Right. This time, I don't even look in its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. Was that the shadow? Over there? Oh, it was there. I pick up the feather that was in a diary and dip it in my vitae. Then I write down. Let's try contempt. Huh. So he wears this jacket now. Or it's a shirt. You sold out your ideals long ago, old man. You're a shithead, a coward, a bigot. A failed leader, hated by everyone serving you. Of course, I have nothing but contempt for you. Heh heh. Good for some honesty. Now, we can talk to each other like equals. It doesn't feel like this is the way these events took place. It's more like a way to explore Agathon's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. In any case, the diary is reacting to me, and some shade of truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I could find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. There are a few thoughts floating around in my head, like alien entities trying to make their way out. Is that also an effect of the diary's power? Let's try... Is it the fear of death that drove you to contact me? Don't be Ichilus, I've been ready to die since before you came out of your mama's womb, boy. No, I fear something worse. So, you heard about their plot? Yes, I wasn't afraid of it. I wasn't afraid it would fail and leave me for final death. I was afraid it would succeed. God damn it. What are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? Why did you pick this place to meet anyway? It's secluded, and there's something in the air here that makes all the blood magic go haywire, which is especially important. Because of me? You're still afraid I might be part of the experiment? No, because of that devil woman. Blood running cold. All the scribblings disappear, and another set starts taking their place. The diary conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get a feeling of deja vu. I process the space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely, but this is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. And standing there is just the person I'd expect. Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan, goddammit. But what if the person he was talking about and citing a strong emotional reaction from was Ainsling? The diary awaits my command. Hi, Reginald. Why? Why? It can't be serious. These need resources, and I won't be able to provide all the needed materials in a reasonable time frame all by myself. It's quid pro quo. It's not like my research isn't helping all kindred in a run. I don't feel comfortable being part of this at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child I give. Science has always relied on politics and politics on science. Not like this, High Reginald. Don't embarrass me, Agathon. Not like this. The moving scribbles disappear again. I hesitantly let another drop of blood fall on the page. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Ah, yes, Agathon. Is that what you needed to tell me? Goddamn rat. I beg your pardon? The harpy vanishes. Yeah, right. As if I could ever gather courage to say this to your face. But the least I can do is try and stab you in the back. Oh, I think I'm investigating all the coterie mates of the past protagonists to see who the possible murderer is. The diary ends here. I spill a lot more vitae on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea what happened to Agathon. Is he alive or is he dead? Maybe Dakota's right. I've been a glass half empty buzzkill too often. I'll brace for the worst, but hope for the best. The way he left his diary for someone to carry on his work, the hints he strategically left inside, he's got this all planned out, no doubt about it. I choose to believe I will see him again one night, Maybe I'll even compliment that jacket he has. Loyal only to myself, glass half full. Huh. In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the art hall. I know Ontario tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message people on his BlackBerry. So I just wait until I see him. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. Miss Wonsky, should you be busy with your investigation? I am, which is why I come to see you. That's peculiar, because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with this case. Are you barking up the wrong tree? That's what I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want to see I'm thorough. Yes, sure. I suppose it's commendable. What is it then? I have reason to believe that in the last few months, you, the High Regent Aisling Sturbridge, and her child, Agathon, were involved in a secretive scheme. His expression changes over so imperceptibly, but the difference is palatable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now I'm something more, and he doesn't like it. What gave you this idea? I'm not at liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kudir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Ontario has repeatedly failed to influence. He'll think twice before approaching him. I fail to see how this matter relates to the task at hand. I have every reason to think Baron Callahan was involved, and that he might have had grounds to fear for his life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Miss Wonsky, please answer the question. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callahan's grim fate. It's strictly confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. I won't. In a sense, even though he didn't anger me as much as Callahan, Ontario always ticked me off. Like, I was more like almost negative, but mostly neutral towards him. It would be wise of you to fuck off. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. The matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I'm 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. If you insist on pursuing it further, we can take it up to the prince and see her stance, if her stance differs from mine. I mean, you have her blood bonded. But I think you aren't as naive as to waste her time this way. And besides, she'd certainly want you to present the basis of your discovery to the court. Could you handle it? I have no response. God damn it. This is his revenge for invoking Kudir, isn't it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry. I'll make sure to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Wonsky. So that's how you're gonna play it, you bastard. Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my choice here. My only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet, but just you wait, and a few nights. I'll take my leave then. Yes, do that. And if I may be so blunt, focus on the investigation avenues that are utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him out under my breath as he disappears inside the art hall. Guess this avenue really is cut off for me, at least for now. 3 names left on the list. I still have some leads to go to. I still have some leads to go by, but for now, it's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I always felt relieved to see him from afar. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benot. Benot? Ah. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled off most of it in a hurry on the way here. I'll come up with more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally been recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course he had to sneak up on me. If you ever heard about that, I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs know. I know you're an expert. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what and where. But the last time we met, you promised to share that knowledge with me. Yeah, I was kind of lying. That's the 9th commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me in your silly games, Benot. The way you fall for obvious lies stem from your biggest failing in communication. And that is, you only pay attention to the what that's being said and not the how. That's booyah, motherfucker. Suck it. Annihilated with absolutely flawless diagnosis. Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father. Won't happen again. Especially if you promise to keep verbally assaulting that clown. You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Stop breaking the 9th commandment. See you around, Julia. He says my name in a sickly sweet way that gives me the creeps. I bow to